Well, good morning. It's Tuesday, April 1st, first day of April, and also happy April Fool's Day. Please prank responsibly today. Thank you for joining us on the topic. No, I'm kidding. It's April Fool's Day, so it is actually up to the minute. I'm Benjamin Escobar, HCCTV production specialist with my wonderful co-host Linda Davis. How you doing, Linda?
Hello, Benji. I'm so glad to be back in the hopper with you. I don't think we rode together since the rodeo.
I know, right? I mean, the rodeo's over. Unfortunately, I wish it could last all year, but we'll probably be hitting up other rodeos around town. So, so tell us, I mean, how people could find us on social media. I don't know if you could share that with us.
Well, sure. If you missed us on that rodeo episode, you can go back and catch us. We're live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
Awesome. So today for Tasty Tuesday, we welcome a Native American chef who's a James Beard finalist and is being praised by Texas Monthly. David Skinner, like I said, chef and co-owner of uh, Ishtia. Correct me if I'm wrong. At
Ish,
Eculent.
yeah, Ishtia. Ishtia.
Ishtia, awesome,
Good
awesome.
morning.
Well, yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. We'll get back to you in about 10 minutes, but first, it's almost time for finals. So, for our students, so Linda is talking to just the right person about how can they best succeed.
Well, we'll be talking with Amanda Guerrero. Welcome back to the show, Amanda.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Very excited to be here talking with you today.
Well, I hear you're old pro, so you're not new to this rodeo, so we're gonna just hop on and get going.
Super.
So what we understand is your instructional support division has teamed up with our Office of Student Life to offer what is called recipes for success to help students get over certain hurdles in their studies. Now, when I heard recipes, everybody knows I'm a foodie. So I was thinking a different type of recipes, but this is one that helps students with hurdles. What type of hurdles do our students have?
Lots of hurdles that our students have, and I find it wonderful that we went with recipes for success on a day when we're also going to be talking to one of our top chefs. So, but yeah, so different hurdles. Students typically struggle with time management, testing anxieties, proper essay structures, active listening while note taking. These are just some of the areas that we've identified, and even metacognition, which is just a fancy way of saying understanding how you learn. These are some of the things that we work with our students on in these particular workshops. So it's not necessarily content like what you would receive in a tutoring session. It's more skill development, and this can actually enhance life skills, not just educational skills here at HCC.
I know when I was a student, I had test anxiety. I would study and I'd have all the answers. And when they said test, my brain would just freeze. So why
Yes.
don't you tell us what is actually recipes for success? What is that?
So the recipes for success, they are a series of workshops that we offer each semester. So we offer a series in the fall and another one in the spring. We've been doing this now for about 5 years. And they're virtual sessions where a student can join from anywhere that they have access to a computer and the internet. Many of our instructors offer students bonus points or extra credit to attend these. So it's important to check with your professor to find out if that's something that is available for your course. The benefits of these workshops are really great. It helps with areas that you probably have never been taught, metacognition, which are just strategies on how you might learn best. That's just an example, but there are a lot of other topics that we do cover. So these are just identified topics that we know our students have expressed an interest in wanting to enhance or that they've struggled with.
So why would you think, or what would you say that makes these so important to our students?
But it's important because it helps you to put in an actual tool. You have a good toolkit to get started. It helps the students with just understanding maybe where their areas of opportunity are in terms of more effective studying, more effective note taking, writing, even overcoming math anxiety. We even have some things on stress management, or after midterms, we offer one called resilience and bouncing back. And that's a real popular one as well. So there's just a lot of different things that our students need. Sometimes they may not even know that they need them, but what we find is with these workshops, we get a lot of positive feedback from our students. We also record these workshops so that if you do happen to miss one, you can catch a replay.
I know that when I was going through my test anxiety, some of the tools I was given was to not overstudy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came time to take the test, to breathe and to actually allow myself to feel confident in what I knew. So that when I got ready to go into a test, I would take a moment, clear my head and my thoughts, and just breathe.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the tools. We didn't have the workshops then, but we got them now, and that's great.
And every tip and technique you just mentioned is actually mentioned in our one of our upcoming workshops on April 15th. It's called Test Taking Strategies at 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Awesome. So question, who hosts them, the workshops?
The workshops are posted by Student Life, and that's Miss Jana Weiss. It's who we've been working with for the last 5 years, and she's our Student Life coordinator for our online college. We wanted to make these workshops available to all students, regardless of college that they attend and location. So, yeah.
Well, we're excited about our Student Life program because they are definitely there for our students, and we
They
appreciate
really are.
them.
They
So
really
you mentioned this workshop coming up April the 15th. You actually have 3 more remaining this semester, including
ma'am.
one this week. What are they?
Yeah, so tomorrow, which is April 2nd, we're offering academic essay structures at 4 o'clock p.m. And then on April 8th, we have a workshop on stress management from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the other workshop was the one I mentioned before on April 15th, right before finals, test taking strategies at 12 o'clock p.m. We've tried to put these workshops at dates and times that would make a lot of sense in the semester for when a student might need them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I understand we could still find previously recorded workshops at the Student Life YouTube page, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of those that were covered that we may have missed that could help?
So some of the topics that we've already discussed and mentioned, there's active listening while note taking, there's effective note taking strategies, there's overcoming math anxiety, metacognition, learning how you learn. There's a lot of workshops that we've offered over the semesters, and sometimes we might change it up a little bit from semester to semester. We've got time management also listed there. There's a plethora of topics that you can, as a student, you can explore what the offerings are and see what you think you might need the most and rewatch those.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. You said we're so glad that we're going to be discussing recipes. We have 2 types of recipes, one for the mind and one for the body. But one of the things that I recall too was eating healthy helps us with our thoughts and our brain and getting the right nutrition. So we want to make sure that we eat a good balanced diet and be prepared to go into our classrooms when we've eaten properly.
Yeah, I would even recommend getting on a good sleep schedule, going to sleep around the same time and waking at the same time when it comes to studying. And again, these are things that if you were to attend our workshop on April 15th, they would go over in detail with you. Making sure that you get regular exercise. Sometimes when we're, so busy studying and we've been putting hours upon hours in on it, getting a break away and actually getting physical for a few minutes and then coming back to it. In our metacognition workshop, we talk about a study cycle, and getting away and actually getting some exercise in is something that we discuss. And again, those breathing techniques, that's a great way to start before you take a test. Breaking up your studying into bite-sized pieces, not cramming until the very end, and asking questions in the classroom. When you get an opportunity to work through study guides, making sure that you're connecting with your professors and asking them questions about, what's the most important thing about this topic they want you to know, things of that nature. We also find it very helpful to organically form study groups. And that can happen earlier in the semester. It can happen later in the semester. So you're in class and you see who's asking questions and you see who's actively engaged. It's really great to make friends with those individuals and ask them if they would like to form a study group. And you can use either one of our libraries or one of our academic success centers, reserve a physical space, or you can do virtual sessions and do it through Microsoft Teams.
Well, I tell you, mental health and physical health is all par for the course. So how can folks register for these workshops, Dr. Guerrero?
Yeah, so our students would go to hccs.edu/ASC-workshops. And that's our landing page for the Recipes for Success. All of the links to register are on there. So again, that's hccs.edu/ASC-workshops.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda Guerrero, Director of HCC Instructional Support. We'll have your information in the post after the show. We'll be right back after commercial break with Benji, and we'll be talking about Tasty Tuesday. So you foodies, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
All right, welcome back to Up to the Minute again from the break. We're now moving on to David Skinner, chef and co-owner of Ishtia at Eculent, and our Tasty Tuesday guest. Welcome back to the show, Chef David.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back. I mean, you joined us before the for our Native American Heritage Month when you opened the Preserve, also in Kima. Your partner, your partner is another James Beard winner as well, Chef G from Street to Kitchen. But before we get to talking about Ishtia, let's begin with your Native American heritage.
Yeah, so I'm Choctaw. I grew up in Oklahoma, and enjoyed, eating kind of traditional, Choctaw foods. Most people don't quite realize, but indigenous ingredients from North and South America have influenced over 60% of the world's cuisine. So,
Wow.
if you think about Italian food, what would it be like without, tomatoes, onions, peppers, chilies? All those came from here. So it's there's a really rich cultural history, but most people just aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean that's it's very true. I mean, what could they do without all those ingredients? I mean, that's very cool to know that that's 60% of influence there. Now, as a Choctaw native, how does your heritage influence, the menu and philosophy there at your restaurant?
Yeah, so as far as the menu goes, one of the things that we're doing at Ishtia that's different than the Preserve is we haven't limited it to all pre-colonial ingredients. We do use dairy, we use wheat products and things like that, which gives us a little more flexibility. The idea behind Ishtia, to make it different than the Preserve, was to bring basically that Eculent kind of flair to it. So, more of a fine dining, Michelin level restaurant that features all these wonderful indigenous ingredients that people are, kind of aware of, but often think they're attributed to another cuisine, another culture. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to showcase true, Native American flavors, textures, cooking techniques, and do it in a way that becomes, very fun and interesting and approachable.
Awesome. What inspired you to open Ishtia in Kima? I mean, out of all places, and I mean, what do you hope guests take away from their dining experience there at your restaurant?
Yeah, of all places, right? Kima, Texas. And I think that's been written about in Texas Monthly and a bunch of other publications. So, Kima is just as likely as anywhere else. The Kima was originally, with Karankawa tribe, and
Hmm.
and so it's got its own sort of Native American roots, but there's very few Native American restaurants in America, which
That is
is
very
really
true.
kind of sad. You can pretty
Hmm.
much count them on a couple of hands, how many there are, and at the level that we're presenting dishes and things like that, there's two or three in the entire U.S. So um, I think it does make sense that we're here, but it's it is an interesting, everybody's like, why don't you put it like in, River Oaks or somewhere, and you'd be
Yeah.
packed all the time. It's like, well, we're busy all the time anyway. So anyway, we like Kima. We like it a lot.
Awesome. And I mean, let's talk about ingredient sourcing and how important sometimes that is to some restaurants. I mean, like you said earlier, you kind of do prioritize those ingredients in your dishes. I mean, how do you source them?
We do. So it's even with Eculent 5 or 6 years ago, I was out actively looking for indigenous ingredients, grown and produced by indigenous producers. So we buy blue corn from the Navajos. We get beans from the Pimas. We get wild rice from the White Earth Reservation. We really prioritize sourcing these ingredients from all these indigenous producers. We want to see them flourish, and we want to see these indigenous products that really you can't get anywhere else
Yeah.
continue to thrive. And we want to introduce people to these really unique flavors and textures because, really other than our restaurant, you're probably never going to run across these or, find them somewhere else.
Yes, I mean you're not wrong. I mean it's very rare to find an indigenous restaurant. So tell us about some of those food dishes that one can expect if they walk into Ishtia or any restaurant that's of
Yeah, so,
this cuisine.
you know, there's uh there's one, I would say, kind of common dish that goes across the board with most indigenous communities, which is kind of lovingly referred to as the Three Sisters, which Three Sisters stands for beans, corn, and squash because they would grow them together.
Okay.
The Choctaws weren't the only ones to do that. Lots of different communities did the same thing, and a lot of times it tends to be more of a succotash or a soup. We present ours completely different. It's going to be a fresh diver scallop we bring in from Maine. It sits in a little pool of corn butter surrounded by a trio of squash, and then we turn the beans into a gel. It's a absolutely beautiful dish. Matter of fact, Texas Monthly featured it in the cover story, but that one's fairly common to most indigenous groups, but we've got some really fun and interesting dishes. One of them I actually have that I can show you today. It's our deer in the woods dish, which is it's a venison cheek that we braise for about 8 hours. We
Wow.
wrap it in potato ribbons and then fry it, and we serve it in a potted plant. And I can kind of show you.
Okay.
This is what it looks like. So uh, you know, not what you would expect at all from a dish, but really delicious. The story behind it is that you know, indigenous people always make good use of any animal that they take. So nothing's ever let go to waste, and that was just kind of the way I grew up. And we have tons and tons of hunters here in Texas, and I get them in the restaurant all the time, and usually they just kind of throw away the head because it's a lot of work to get the cheeks out and other components, and so this is a way to really show sustainability. If you're going to take an animal, use it all. And I get people all the time, they're just like, that's the best tasting venison I've ever had in my life. How did you do that? And it's like, well, you just kind of have to know what you're doing. But again, it's something you can do with a very small piece of meat. The cheek is very small. We get 2 servings out of 1 cheek. That's it. And but it's absolutely delicious. It just melts in your mouth, and it's also a very fun dish, and people just kind of love it. So.
Well, Chef, it's been great talking to you. We're here kind of wrapping up here towards the end. I just want you to have a chance to let us know where you're located, where can we find you, and kind of close it off with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have people come visit us. We are in Kemah at 709 Harris. We're right behind T-Bone Tom's, if people know where that is in Kemah. You can find us on the web at ishtia.com. It's ISHTIA. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And you can book us on Open Table. We serve Thursday through Saturday dinners at 7 o'clock. We only seat 18 people, so it's a very intimate situation. I introduce all of the courses, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of really delicious food that most people have never had the opportunity to enjoy before.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chef David Skinner. He's the co-owner of Ishtia at Eculent and our Tasty Tuesday guest, and we'll have all of that info on our post after the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. Coming up next, we have a quick commercial break, but Linda and I will return with some news and announcements, so stay tuned.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
All right, well, now we have some news and announcements for you, starting off with Spring Networking Social. HCC invites alumni and former students to the HCC Alumni Association Spring Networking Social tonight at the West Houston Institute. Featured speakers are former student Flor Damasi, CEO of Global Speak Translations, and Nick Tran, managing partner of Evictus Venture Group. These events allow graduates and alumni a fun, festive way to reconnect. That'll take place, like I said, today, Tuesday, April 1st at 6 p.m. at the West Houston Institute. So check out our post after the show for more info.
Well, graduation deadline is today. The countdown to graduation is on. So students need to make sure they're ready to celebrate by following 2 steps. First is applying for graduation, which means you meet all academic requirements and will receive a diploma. 2, register for commencement, which means you plan to walk the stage. Deadline to apply is today, Tuesday, April 1st. No fooling. Register for commencement today, register for commencement deadline is Friday, April 18th. So check out the post after the show for more information.
All right, next we have the Youth and Teen Symposium. Life after high school can be confusing, so HCC, the City of Houston, HISD, and Fort Bend ISD are hosting a free youth and teen symposium to explore careers and prepare for college. This will take place Saturday, April 5th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the HCC Coleman campus. Lunch will be provided, so just saying that, I'm already there. So check out our post after the show for more info. And I know we have a program called K-Start. Tell us about that, Linda.
Yes, K-Start, our Korean culture and language lessons. HCC's Reading Cultures, World Languages, Humanities, and Library Science program are offering an introduction to Korean language and culture to explore key phrases, traditions, and customs from Korea. Repeat session will be Wednesday, April the 2nd at the West Loop campus. So check out the post after the show for more information.
All right, now we have student music recital. So HCC music students will perform what they have studied and prepared during their spring semester to showcase their development and skills. This will take place Wednesday, April 16th at 7:30 p.m. at the Spring Branch Performing Arts Center. This is free, so you're looking for something to do? Here it is. So check out our post after the show for more info.
Summer registration has begun. Woohoo! Make the most of summer by locking in classes to stay on track. HCC classes are still offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and ranges of modalities, including online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, both face-to-face and partially virtual, in-person, and hybrid labs. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, visit us at hccs.edu/apply.
All right, coming up, it's time for Back to the Food Chur, HCC's fun cross-collaborative competition between the biology, history, and culinary departments. And for Good Works Wednesday, the Houston Area Parkinson's Society returns to talk about its Parkinson's Prom to celebrate its Special Awareness Month. Lots of things coming up on the show. Linda, I know you'll probably be with us later this week. Am I correct?
Yes, you guys can catch me on Thursday for Family Fun Day.
There you go. See, well, thank you so much for filling in today. I mean, I think it was a great show, don't you think?
Always with you, Benji.
Yeah. And let's set people to prank responsibly today. I know it's April Fool's, so yeah, have fun. Thank you so much for joining us here on Up to the Minute, and we'll see you next time.